treat different exchanges or different transactions, to be specific, and how they will want to do it. As long as they are covering all the edge cases, I think implementation should not be an issue. But in this case, actually, the notification, one of the notification came about, I think, some 10 days ago, giving some clarifications, and another one came like 2 days ago, giving few more clarifications. But anyway, I mean, given all tech teams would obviously be strong enough in a cryptocurrency exchange, I don't think there was a really need for an extension. Saying that, okay, we want the extension so that the TDS only starts by 15th, etc. So all of them were able to implement. From what I can see today, all major exchanges have the provisions for required TDS deductions in place, and they are already handling it. So yeah, they have to handle how the sell orders gets processed and how the TDS gets deducted, and then the crypto to crypto, how it gets deducted, and how it should eventually be informed to the department, and how the payments of the TDS should happen to individual traders against individual traders. So all the 3-4 things, those should be figured out. So once those are done, I think it should be a smooth ride.
As you were saying that, in fact, the government did not have a lot of clarity when, the union budget was presented. And just after the union budget was presented, all these crypto community or advocates came up saying that, the taxes are too much. And, there was a room for another kind of negotiation. And, all of you guys, the fraternity of crypto players, were anticipating that there would be a revision or there would be a little bit of negotiation in terms of how these taxes would be applied. So, again, coming to the point of how difficult or how easy it was for you to implement, anticipating that there might be a room for some changes as well.
See, for example, income tax, right? So then they said 30% is the income tax, and we at our exchange, we don't need to do anything. It is something that customers need to handle themselves for their own filing, because sometimes we will not even know the cost price of a crypto assets. We only know like if they're exiting on Unocoin, we just know the selling price. So that's not our concern. So when it comes to TDS, the onus of deducting the tax, the TDS, and paying it to the income tax department is now put on the exchanges, due to which we had to handle some of them at the tech level, so that we do these procedures as a part of compliance. So initially, when the budget speech was put out, it was obviously even today the 30% continues to look high, because not more than 5% or 6% of the people actually fall under that slab, which means for everyone else who are in the crypto, who have exposure in crypto, it's an unfair taxation that is already been applied. But on the other side, if you see, keeping the number aside, it's not like 50 or 60 or 100, it's 30, which is on the higher side, but it is not like never heard of. Kind of things. But now we have the clarification about the income tax. Now we have about the TDS, and we have the clarity on how the advertising councils and these things work. So what to tell, what not to tell. Like that, I think one department after one department over a period of time, let's say, everything has happened only last year, in fact, are coming up with their clarification of what they are seeking from this and what we get back. Right. So. It is just a part of regulation, I would say. If the rest of few more departments actually come up with that, I think I will end up calling it as full regulation. So today it's actually like partially regulated already.
So we also were getting a lot of queries around crypto to crypto transfer for the same individual. For example, if I have multiple accounts on different exchanges across boundaries, and if I'm doing a crypto to crypto transfer and the owner of those particular accounts or crypto wallets is the same entity, do I also have to, I will have to consider that transaction as well, and the TDS would be tracked on that particular transfer as well, because that case I am the buyer and I am the seller. So how is it going to look like for me?
See, if you are talking about two different exchanges, and if you are sending crypto from one exchange to other exchange, it is just crypto transfer. Correct. There is no conversion. So TDS is not applicable there. But in a specific exchange, if you are converting that crypto to another crypto.
For example, I have Bitcoin and I get it converted into Cardano. There is a crypto to crypto transfer, so but both of these accounts belongs to me, and it is on the same exchange platform, which is Unocoin.
That's true, but I mean, see, for example, if you sell Bitcoin, for example, right? So INR wallet would belong to you, Bitcoin wallet would belong to you. So you're selling Bitcoin and getting INR. So it's applicable, right? So if you're exiting a crypto position, it's applicable. That is like easiest rule to remember, right? So if you are paying crypto to someone else, then it is considered as a transfer, and it will actually be. I mean, TDS won't apply that yet, but the income taxes will apply for the receiver, saying that they have received some kind of asset or a gift or whatever it is. So they have to treat it accordingly. But if it is, let's say, if one exchange you have some crypto and let's say Cardano, and you're doing it for sending it for another exchange, then that transaction will not attract any kind of income tax or TDS. But however, if you sell it on the other exchange, yeah, again it will get applied. So if you are exiting crypto positions, either outgoing is crypto and incoming could be fiat or crypto, it doesn't matter, right?
Exiting means you are basically encashing the digital asset against the INR or fiat currency.
INR or INR fiat or even crypto, right? So exiting a crypto, the incoming could be another crypto or INR. So in both cases, as long as you're exiting crypto, the TDS is applicable. As simple as that.
Yeah, okay. And when the union budget was passed, and then the 30% tax started being applied in this financial year, and then after this TDS is now has come into the picture. What kind of user behavior have you seen in the past 1 week, or you anticipate for the next week, and what you have seen in the last 3 months?
Okay, so I mean, before this as well, the income tax was applicable, but it was more applicable as per long-term, short-term capital gains, or it could be as per the slabs that they are trying to have, 5, 10, 20, 30% slabs that was all available, etc. But this actually set in stone, saying that it doesn't matter everything else, no capital gains, nothing, irrespective of when the crypto was bought and sold. It is a fixed 30% slab. On one side, we got some information. So there is we are getting recognized as far as income tax department and everything is getting concerned. But on the other side, it was a little bit on the higher side, right? So, and on the other side, I think it's also crypto industry has to take that blame, because a lot of that industry players talk about gains also, right?
Correct.
And when the moment you're saying that, oh my God, we were able to get like 50% gain in a single year and such, then the government say, okay, yeah, you're getting mine, then pay some taxes as well. Let me help the country in other ways. It's as simple as that. So usually the crypto have given more than fair amount of gains within the last few years, 2 years. And now again, it looks like a bear market, but that's a different question. But at that time, because of the gains on an average, so they have asked for it, and if you are in India and getting that gain, you have to pay. It's as simple as that. So when it comes to the reaction of customers, for some people, it's a burden actually to actually do the filing, because now it's mandatory filing has to be done.
Correct.
To do the 30% taxation. So let's say a person is like maybe a student, right? So he has no other earnings. He's maybe investing about 1,000 rupees and get 1,200 rupees. Okay, then for the 200 rupees as well, 30% is applicable, even though you don't have any other earnings. Correct. So he essentially, to pay that 60 rupees for the 200 rupees gain, which is the 30%. He has to go to an auditor, do the filing, do all the procedures, etc. as well, which is like extremely unfair,
painful.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like this. It's who don't cross the 5 lakh limit, who have not crossed, and they have never filed the income taxes in their lifetime, and they are comparatively small earners. But now the compliance part is becoming a burden, not that they are losing money, because they are losing money. Let's say they are paying a part of the profits. Maybe is acceptable to people, but chasing behind auditors and getting the taxes done, etc., will be a little bit challenging. Correct. And a lot of auditors may not even understand this, because it's quite new in nature. So then they have to go for online portals, when many of them, and so it's not a smooth process. There is some friction. So people are bothered about it. So whoever was quite bothered, they kind of said that, okay, anyway, I'm not going to turn 1,000 rupees into 10 lakh rupees anyway. So for small earning that I'll be able to do by using a very small amount of money, there is if it is not a life changer, then why to even get into it, right? So they just started keeping away. So that happened, say, in the month of like April and May. I mean, there'll be some small set of people who would have dropped out of this. But on the other side, because now there is a clarity in income tax, there are people who wanted to get in, saying that okay, there is some clarity. It's not like no clarity at all. Anyway, there's a growing market and disruptive technology. Let me take some exposure, 5%, 10% of the portfolio and such. So some people have done it that. And if you see what it is like last week and what I'm anticipating next week, so last week, obviously, this is not like they didn't know. They kind of knew that TDS is coming since more than a few months already. So it is getting implemented. So people who don't want to get into this TDS thing, some would have exited their positions. But I have not really seen a volume increase in such a way that people are exiting the positions just because there is something called TDS. So which probably means it's kind of it eventually gets accepted among the people. It's just a new status quo, right? So as of today, if you're buying some object or maybe an outfit, it's 18% GST or 5% GST, whatever it is, and it is there, it exists. It's as simple as that. So similar to that, TDS as well. Eventually, we all analyze and realize that it just exists. Not every taxation. I mean, most of the taxation don't keep people happy. I mean, no one actually want their salary, first part of the salary, to be cut in the name of TDS. But it works that way, right? So eventually, that will become the norm for people. They'll just understand, saying that okay, this is what it is.
Yes.
And TDS at least is good thing because you can at least claim it back later, right? So when you do your filing, if it actually gets to such an extent that it can be tried back. So I think people understand that eventually. So maybe first week, like whatever I started from today, people will be more watching. A lot of people will be seeing like what's happening, so that they're aware. Enough information is available to them. Maybe, or it could be just 2 days. I don't know. But there is a definitely change in status quo, right? So that so that will take a little bit of impact for a short term, and it should just be back to normal, like whatever it used to be, is what I'm saying.
क्वाइट इंसाइटफुल. तो हमें इतनी ज़्यादा क्लैरिटी मिल चुकी है बस 20 मिनट की बातें करने के बाद. एंड आई एम वेरी श्योर यू गाइज ऑल्सो हैव पार्क्ड योर क्वेश्चंस. In case you have signed in to Twitter space Unocoin and you want to ask question, you will not be able to do so because you have to raise a request as a speaker. तो कोशिश यही कीजिए कि आप Unocoin के YouTube चैनल के ऊपर आके अपने क्वेश्चंस को एज ए कमेंट टाइप कर दीजिए, सो दैट हम आपके क्वेश्चंस को सात्विक के साथ डिस्कस करेंगे एंड यू कैन गेट रियल टाइम आंसर्स. मैं यहाँ पर एक छोटा सा 2 मिनट का ब्रेक लेने वाली हूँ और उसके बाद फिर हम बात करने वाले हैं मार्केट के बारे में भी, टैक्स के बारे में भी, टीडीएस के बारे में तो हम ऑलरेडी बात कर चुके हैं, और Unocoin आपके लिए बेहतर किस तरीके से हो रहा है और होने वाला है, इसके बारे में भी हम चर्चा करेंगे. तो 2 मिनट का ब्रेक और बहुत जल्दी आने वाले हैं साथी के साथ वापस से बात करने के लिए.
There are like how many people? There are enough people who are listening, or what does it look like?
Yeah, here we have around
Any questions on Twitter space?
only one question. I mean, he has requested. He cannot ask until I unmute him.
Okay, you can.
So, chalo, karo. Do it.
We are live in 3, 2, 1, go.
Namaskar दोस्तों, welcome back to Unocoin's YouTube channel. This is me, RJ Rashmi Sharma, your crypto dost, and together with me is the subject matter expert himself, Sathvik Vishwanath, जो अब तक TDS के around सारे questions answer कर चुके हैं. I have got few requests on Twitter Space as well, but जैसा मैंने आपको बताया था दोस्तों कि अगर आप Twitter Space के ऊपर मुझे सुन रहे हैं, कोशिश यही कीजिए that you put your question as a comment on YouTube. तो Unocoin के YouTube चैनल के ऊपर आके आप आराम से क्वेश्चन पुट इन कर सकते हैं. यहाँ पर मैं देख सकती हूँ कि जितेंद्र जी जो हैं वो मुझसे रिक्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं स्पीकर एक्सेस के लिए. तो जितेंद्र जी, मैं आपसे वैसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप प्लीज Unocoin के YouTube चैनल के ऊपर आ जाइए एंड आस्क योर क्वेश्चन. तब तक जब तक आप हमारे YouTube से जुड़ते हैं, लेट्स गेट बैक विद द डिस्कशन. एक यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा क्लियरली मुझे बोला गया है कि सवाल पूछने हैं. तो अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है, अगर आपको समझ नहीं आ रहे हैं सवाल दोस्तों, तो आप फिर से कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि आप एक कमेंट कर दें और बेहतर तरीके से आपके क्वेश्चन को पुट फॉरवर्ड किया जाएगा सो दैट सात्विक कैन आंसर. सात्विक, व्हेन दिस यूनियन बजट वाज पास्ड, चलिए मैं कैमरे से बात करते हुए बोलती हूँ, जब यूनियन बजट पास किया गया था फेब में, राइट, उसके बाद ऑल ऑफ अ सडन द फर्स्ट क्लैरिटी दैट यू नो द क्रिप्टो कम्युनिटी गॉट वाज, हाँ एटलीस्ट illegal नहीं है, at least my government is considering cryptos and at least they are considering that it is profitable and it has some power in itself to change the world, change the way we do the transactions, be it money, be it information, be it whatever, right? So that clarity or that that cheer that had, do you think that fueled our government to stick to that 30% tax? Because they were like, okay, at least we have satisfied our audience in such a way that now there's no more complaints around ki give cryptos asset wala darja.
Yeah. So I mean, here again, when they came up in the union speech, right? So they came up with 30% tax, flat on all the crypto exist like profits made, and the industry cheered up. That's true, and they're not talking about 30 as a number, but in income tax explicitly being asked for it. So there is obviously like you get more exposure, people learn about it, media covers it, and it's somewhat moving towards legitimacy one step at a time, kind of thing. But on the other side, government also have enough data because they've collected from various stakeholders, including us. I mean, aggregate data, let's say. So how many people have invested, how much of the investments, and what is the exits, and what's the kind of percentage of profits, etc. as well. And they would have obviously done their research before they just come up with this kind of number. And actually, after a couple of weeks, we actually heard some of the members of parliament talking about maybe 30% is also less, it should be more, right? So it should be like 55, it should be 45, etc. And comparing it with countries like Denmark and few of the states in US. Not that bad, it's somewhat bad, kind of thing. So obviously the government is, I mean, we understood it's not going back. It is sticking with the typical number, and we just hope that it won't get worse than what it is already. And yeah, this is where we are based on that.
Right. So when we talk about tax, when we talk about TDS, do you think, I'm not asking you as somebody who owns the India's first crypto exchange, as a layman, matlab ek normal taxpayer citizen of India, do you think any kind of taxation, any kind of TDS, be it whatever slab, be it whatever percentage, has given more clarity and has opened doors for a normal citizen to explore cryptos?
I do believe so, right? So because this is all the part of, let's say, regularization or giving legitimacy kind of attempts. So if you see at that level, I would say maybe we have like 4 or 5 of such kind of proper rules are kind of required. So obviously, customer protection and advertisement policies, and then come income tax and TDS, then come GST, and then comes the capital controls if it becomes applicable. So like this, at one point, one thing at a time. I think if we get clarity on these 4 or 5 um, things, then it kind of becomes very, very straightforward. As of today, we are already like a 9-year-old company, and lot of the clarity which did not exist on first day even do not exist today, right? So but whatever clarity has come up has only come up in last 1 year. So first 8 years nothing happened. So which means that I think we are at the last, like maybe in 1 or 2 years, we probably will cover up all the missing pieces as far as the clarifications is concerned. So yeah, I'll obviously be looking this as a it's a positive growth as far as the crypto industry is concerned. That one thing at a time, we know what the country is thinking about. It's no more about you don't feel like, oh my god, I'm doing crypto trading and I've made money, can I even tell it to others? It's not like that anymore. So it is just treated like any other business, one step at a time, and it will eventually go.
So when you just discussed about an average Indian making little money, government recognizing it, and then government putting a tax on it, regulating it, and saying that it's neither legal, neither illegal, nor illegal, right? So there is a scope that a normal average Indian customer or citizen would see that this has uh, made the little pathway for crypto to be accepted in India. But talk about some of the big players, some of the players who bulk trading, some of the richy rich. Do you think India is not a country for them if they have to continue with the crypto, or they have to explore another side, or maybe a brighter side of digital assets, not just cryptos but any other assets as well?
See, I think it is because, like you said, sometimes it says we have not declared it as legal yet, but yeah, these are the taxes that we are applying. But our income tax also says that irrespective of what work you are trying to do, if you are earning income, then pay. Whether it is legal work or illegal work is a different topic altogether, etc. And now it comes down to people who maybe, let's say, got involved into the crypto sooner, or they have found some kind of they have some kind of startups or businesses around this which has put them in a better position financially, etc. It eventually comes down to now what they have to lose just in case if the crypto regulation in India goes in negative direction, right? So it is about seeing that balance, whether that balance is achieved, or it looks like, okay, it is not worth it anymore, right? So with these kinds of things, it's not going anywhere, kind of thing. And they actually, for example, if you're talking about TDS and income tax, there are jurisdictions which do not have income tax at all as well. So going and settling there and doing the trading, they just get to enjoy all of whatever they're getting, etc. Right? So in that way, so do some people do consider thinking that's probably is a better trade-off. Let's not bother about the country, and let's do the transactions elsewhere, build the company elsewhere, set up the startups elsewhere, etc. And obviously, for this to stop, including talent, going out of the country, it's not only it has to happen, in this particular way. They just get hired. Or the other way around, even more bad, is that the company in other countries hire a talent in India, so they get salary more or less what they get in India, but however, they're working for a company and the valuation and building
altogether.
building a company elsewhere. The value creation is happening elsewhere, but the talent in India is getting used. So yeah, these things do happen in all industries, in fact, but it is a little bit higher when it comes to crypto, just because some part of regulation still does not exist, or some people have way too much to lose that they don't want to give up on.
So I've got a question from Target Math. I want to know that how to implement TDS on P2P trading.
See, P2P trading is tricky in nature. If it is an Indian exchange itself, I believe they have to take the 1% from seller, right? So they'll have to figure out how to do that to start with. Maybe they ask 1% to be funded to their INR wallet or something like that, so that it can be deducted, etc. Because the owners, as per the new Gazette guidelines, the onus of deduction of TDS exists on the exchange itself or the broker itself, not on customers now. But as long as the exchange is in between, right? So here it is in between. In fact, they are providing the escrow services and such. So it's not full clarity, does not exist. But as far as the sellers are paying 1%, and if it is going to the exchange and exchange is paying it against the seller's PAN card, which will eventually become visible in Form 16, that is fine.
Okay, so we have got another question. This is for the small traders. What would be the impact on Bitcoin for small traders?
Impact on Bitcoin on
Bitcoin small traders.
I am not sure what they're trying to ask. If they're trying to see that should if
It
the
could
involvement
be
of Bitcoin,
any cryptocurrency, yeah, but for the small traders.
See, small traders as well pay the same 1% percentage based. So it will not be different. But when it comes to small traders, they should actually be like more careful, because a lot of times it will be happening due to like impulse reactions and such. Not like there is enough thoughtful process before hitting the buttons of when to buy, when to sell, and such. And when it is entity, they have some regulations and rules of like it could be loans or etc. But when it comes to the individuals, people just end up taking loan, trying to invest in crypto, thinking that it'll increase the valuation and such, and it'll go the other way. So they should actually be like very careful. Small traders, which we also call as retail traders, are the one who would actually be at more risk when due to this kind of volatility. So they just have to be like very cautious. When it comes to taxes, everyone pays, including small traders.
Yeah, but then don't like, I have seen your Twitter, like you have been very active on Twitter. You have been fighting for the rights to reduce the taxes, and also appreciating the fact that at least there is some kind of regulation that has come into the picture. But do you think that there is still a scope for the government to listen to all those crypto advocates and do certain amendments? Because if you see in the last 3-4 months, like there has not been much changes into what was said and what is being implemented, right? So do you see that there's still scope? Are you building a community together? Are you also consolidating like-minded people and then setting up a meeting, or going for another round of negotiation?
The government or the income tax department have the right to create the taxation rules, right? So you cannot question that right, because that's the right they just have, already. So you cannot go to a court to fight for it, right? So because they say that is their right. So it's as simple as that. If you can pay income tax and still do the business you do, or else you should not do the business. It just comes down to that, right? So you cannot say it's just like more or less. I think. So what was the second part of the question again?
So basically what I was trying to understand is, like, do you still believe that you should come out as a stronger community and have another round of negotiations? Or do you or you have made up your mind that this is how it has to be? At least we have been given
at the end, for us to say it is high or for them to say it is low, we need data, right? So now the taxation
30% is any which way is more than.
No, that is insufficient data yet, because till now different people have got different income through crypto and they have paid it, and the government don't know which part of the income tax that they got is because of crypto. They don't know till last year.
Correct.
This is the first year they will know. Because there will be a separate section saying that okay, it's 30% fixed, it's crypto.
Correct.
Declare your income here, right?
Yeah.
So once the data is there, they will also know what is the quantum of income tax that is getting, and maybe they'll even start allocating it to say educational purposes, or supporting the new startups in the crypto space or blockchain space. So I don't know the initiative set. So right now it's a one way. I definitely don't see that to be like what is the benefit that we are getting for crypto community when they're paying actually a fixed 30% tax. And in fact, they have not paid it. It is that you have to pay, but you are paying it in
the next
so with the financial year, right? In between you pay advance tax and then you pay the thing, right? So it's as of now it continues to be like kind of blank in nature, and eventually there will be a time when government also sees it, And if they think that, okay, if I reduce the income tax, then more people will trade and the volume will increase and profits will, as a volume, more taxes as compared to higher percentage but less taxes, right? So that is a kind of analysis the government will also do, and that's a, and once we have that data, which will usually be public data, we will also having say that, look, if you do it this way, it's actually not good for the country, and we have to allow people who are in the lower income tax slabs to just take that advantage, because maybe this is what they learned. This is what they are in.
And that is the exact problem that we were trying to solve in the first place, right? That financial inclusion that we talk about, like on a broader level.
That's true. So but that will only be possible after a little time. It's when you can continue talking about it to say like how presently whatever is there can affect just because you know the topic and you have some views, strong views about it, etc. But eventually at the end the numbers speak, not just the theories, right? So once the numbers are there, that has to, should be a better way of handling these kinds of taxes, I guess. But the fact that it exists is good, right? So, but now it is about correction, like doing it right, which is more acceptable by everyone.
Nice. So we have another question from Jitendra only. Sir, if I do the withdrawal of crypto from one exchange to another, then what percentage of TDS would be applicable?
There is no TDS applicable. If you're sending from one exchange to another exchange, so then both of them belongs to you. The TDS is not applicable. But let's say from one exchange to the other exchange, but the other account of the other exchange, whoever is getting it, is someone else, right? So then they're getting it like consideration or a gift. Then even then TDS is not applicable, but income tax will be applicable. So if it is a profit that they got or whatever, they have to declare it as income tax and pay the income tax.
I now want to, have this conversation for a very generalized set of audience. Not talking about TDS as such, not talking about the recent taxation that has come into picture. What I want to talk about is the market has been bearish, right? Since May. In fact, the start of the May, the market has been bearish, and there are, in fact, highest surge in terms of search. The keyword search on Google is Bitcoin dead? What do you have to say around it? Or do you see that there is a mirroring effect in terms of traditional financial market and the crypto market? And in fact, not just for India, but for the global economies as such. Do you see there is a mirror effect?
See, this so-called Bitcoin is dead. I don't know how many times I've heard of it.
Yes.
Maybe more than many dozens, for sure.
After 4 years?
No, since like 9 years, 10 years. I mean, Bitcoin was declared as dead in 2010, right? So for every time it just comes up alive, it have its stretch. It has a stretch. Then there are new applications being born out of it. Then some valuation increase, the price increases and such. And it increases to such an extent that it becomes scary, and a lot of people want to exit, and not many people want to enter, and then there is some corrections. So it's all like a part of the cycle. The way it goes up, it also could come down. But the good thing that we have seen so far is that on an average, it's usually on the uptrend, right? So when we started the company, I remember when Bitcoin price was about like what, $150 or so. So and the highest we have seen is like 68,000. So so now we are talking about like 4,000 times increase. So yeah, this how it's kind of have been. So the variations have to be anticipated. Bear markets lot of times are longer than bullish markets. So the bullish market was like 2013 and 17 and maybe 21, right? So those three are bullish markets, and it actually happening at the same interval of 3 to 4 years once. So we will have to see how that is like this year, and we still don't know whatever the market is like bearish is actually a long-term bearish, or it is just like it can just go again back to how it was, and it could go beyond, and then again it could get corrections. But if it's not for weak-hearted, so people should be really cautious when they are clicking the buttons. I mean, it's the real money that is put at risk. Exchanges, including ours, we have put a lot of efforts to make it really easy to trade.
Correct.
Crypto, that doesn't mean people should keep on trading. They should be cautious in what they do.
Yeah, that's always a financial advice. Do your own research and never ever listen to advices that you hear a lot on the internet, because you always have to verify before you read or hear or read about any other stuff that goes on the internet. I have another question from again Jitendra. Sir, if I do P2P trading, then TDS is applied on buyer or seller?
So TDS is only applied for seller, right? So it won't get applied for the buyer. So it will be my understanding is that it's responsibility of the exchange to hold that money and pay to the tax. But some exchanges may say that because it is P2P, the fiat money actually don't get routed through them. It just goes from buyer to seller, seller directly. So then technically the buyer has to hold that 1% of the seller's money and pay it to the PAN card of the seller, which is like extremely tedious. So I think it usually will be more in terms of the easier way of doing this is the buyer pays 1% to the exchange and 99% to the seller, and the exchange will take that 1% and deposit it to the PAN card of seller. So that could be like easier way, and in that way, the onus is also satisfied.
So as I was talking about this mirroring effect, I also want to talk about. Is it going to be, as you were talking about, it's not just only about the percentage which is so high in terms of taxes, it's also about the compliance that the people has to, abide by. For example, you're talking about PAN cards, you're talking about, downloading this form. You need to be, you should be in that, just to save that 1% and 5% bracket, you need to, file tax so that, you fall at least into the 1% bracket, and, you're not end up paying too much on the TDS. So, do you see a kind of resistance, because it's always very hard for people to adopt crypto, right? And on that, so many compliances, the taxes being so high, what do you think? Like, do you see there would be a dip, and the market is already bearish, right? So what kind of market sentiments that you see?
See, here we have to consider like different types of traders, right? So there are some intraday traders who do multiple transactions a single day. Then there are short-term, medium-term, long-term who are doing in few weeks, few months, and we hold it for more than a few quarters or years. So I think the ones who usually should get affected with this kind of TDS is the intraday traders, right? So someone who is doing once per month or once per quarter, it should not. So because the total money that gets locked, let's say if they're doing once per quarter, the total money that gets locked should be like 4%. And if they're doing buying and selling, which means there are only 2 sells and 2 buys, so then only 2% money is getting locked as well. So that is like not that serious, but the people who do a little bit more frequently, the capital actually is getting locked away, right? So to such an extent that the capital would actually be less to do the rest of the actual trading activities and such. And on the other side, the government is also not earning it; they're just holding it till the actual filing is happening. That money actually cannot be used by the government. They cannot spend that money and build some infrastructure.
But that's only on papers. Like, how would, as an exchange person, or anybody for that matter, would know that this is just being held by the government and it's not used into?
See, a big. I mean, it's again like how the exchange also work, right? So let's say you buy 1 Bitcoin, and I say that yes, I'm holding it for you if you want to withdraw. Correct. Right? Then if you ask me to prove that, then there are only limited things I could do.
Until I ask it back from you, right?
So as long as every ask is honored, it is called good. It's called liquid. Correct. Right? So, and when the ask is not settled, then there is an issue. It's the same thing with government as well. So if you file the income tax, and as long as you get it, which obviously you get because government have money always. To at least pay back to the TDS and whoever people have paid TDS. So they will just pay it, and if they don't do it for the restricted, I mean the period where they just don't do the income tax filing returns at all, returns are not filed, then it is just taken away by the government, saying that it's the tax anyway.
So I've got a question from Pankaj. What kind of transaction is applicable? Basically, on what kind of transactions TDS would be applicable in crypto?
Yeah, the rule according to me is very simple. If you are exiting a crypto, TDS is applicable, right? But incoming could be fiat or, I mean, Indian rupees or crypto, it's different. But as long as one crypto, any crypto is going out of your hands in an exchange, then there is a TDS. Selling it for INR, there is a TDS. Sending one crypto and getting another one in an exchange, there is TDS, right? So it's as simple as that. But if you're buying, using Indian rupees, if you're buying crypto, which means crypto is not going from you, but crypto is coming to you only, then TDS is not applicable.
Okay, it's only when you make profit, right?
No, yeah, it's only when the crypto goes away. So TDS is not about profits; it's about transaction.
Correct.
Income tax is about profits, right? But the TDS that happens now, you can offset it when you pay the income tax when you do the file returns.
फिर से यहाँ पर बहुत important point कि TDS जो है वो आपके हर एक ट्रांसफर के लिए एप्लीकेबल है. जो लोग भी यहाँ पर मेरे साथ ट्विटर स्पेसेस के थ्रू भी जुड़े हुए हैं या यूट्यूब, लिंक्डइन, ट्रांसफर, जैसे कि हमने बताया कि द न्यू लॉ अराउंड द TDS हैज कम इनटू पिक्चर ऑन द वर्चुअल एसेट के ट्रांसफर के ऊपर. एंड एज ही सेड कि कोई भी एग्जिट अगर आप करते हैं क्रिप्टो से, भले ही वो कोई भी तरीके का क्रिप्टो क्यों ना हो, anytime you exit from a crypto, you have to pay the TDS. The transfer will attract TDS. But when it comes to taxations, जो बहुत पहले, जो 3 महीने पहले ही applicable हो चुका है, that is only applicable on the profits that you make. Again, we have got another question from Target Math, yani Jitendra ji. I do some P2P trade today, but I think exchange not deducted TDS from my transaction. तो बेसिकली कहना चाहते हैं कि ये P2P ट्रेड करते हैं, बट उनका जो एक्सचेंज है वो TDS डिडक्ट नहीं कर रहा है.
See, that's I would say if the exchange is also Indian, then it is a bad idea, right? So the exchanges is not doing it right. But the exchanges could get away saying that the seller is not sending Indian rupees to the buyer through their platform. The right way of doing it is if the exchange collects that 1% and pay it as TDS of the seller. But then again, it's a friction for the entire transactions to happen, right? So I continue to think that it may not be the good idea. So the exchange have to do it. Exchange have to take it and conclude it.
So आज के एरिया में हम आखिरी क्वेश्चन लेंगे जो प्रवीण कुमार की तरफ से आया है हमारे YouTube चैनल के ऊपर, एंड ये पूछ रहे हैं कि टैक्स रेट ऑन गिफ्ट ऑफ क्रिप्टो एंड व्हेन पेएबल ऑन रिसिप्ट ऑफ गिफ्ट और ऑन द सेल ऑफ दैट क्रिप्टो कब एप्लीकेबल होगा और कितना होगा गिफ्ट्स के ऊपर.
So income tax or TDS? What are the
tax rate on gift of crypto or कब payable होगा?
I think it is more income tax. I guess in this particular case. So if you are gifting it to someone and if someone is accepting it, then that gift is taxable at 30%, right? And if you are transferring it among your own wallets, that should be fine. But if you are transferring it to someone else's wallet, then even then it should be considered as if it's a crypto exit kind of thing for that part of whatever was given out. And you have to calculate what was the cost of crypto and what it was at the time of exiting that particular small piece of crypto, and see if it is a profit, then the income tax will be applicable. But if you are just doing the gift of crypto to someone, or if you are just transferring it out, the TDS is not applicable because there is no exchange in between. There is no buy sell literally happening at that point of time. But however, whatever do not get covered under TDS will actually get covered under income tax, because income tax just is like wide. It's like umbrella. It covers everything.
सुहास किरण का हम आखिरी क्वेश्चन लेंगे यहाँ पर. Why do you think government is adding these taxes for crypto trading?
They are adding for everything. Like what is crypto? And I mean, this is like a very bad question. I don't know if this viewer is actually paid taxes for other things. Okay, keeping that aside, they are now specifying how much to pay, right? So they are actually helping us to some extent. Income tax was always applicable even before the 30% slab was there. But
there was no crypto transactions that were being monitored to this level.
Crypto transactions not being monitored means, say, at the end of the day, we call it to be like an asset, right? So let's say if it is land, then it is being monitored.
But that also, the asset class also was declared in the last winter bill that was passed.
So they are taking it like other industries. So let us say they are taking away the advantage that we had. Okay. It's not that they're doing it wrong. Okay.
Until the rules and the protocols came into
Yeah,
picture, we
so
were
if it is
doing
land,
it in our own.
government knows it. If someone is trading in equities, commodities, forex, government knows it, right? So because for all of them there are regulators already in place, but for crypto it was not there, right? So either they have to create a new regulator itself, like SEBI, which is a way too much for a country like India to actually have more regulators.
Correct.
So instead, what they have done, all of them are coming up with what is the rules that according to them should be applied for crypto. So income tax said that, I mean, if they have kept quiet, people would have still paid income tax anyway for the profits that they are making. But now that they have said it, it is like more clear and straightforward. And see, asset classification was one of the requirements, right? So some people say it's like an digital asset. Some people say it's more like foreign currency. Some people can say it's like equity. Some people say it's commodity. Some people say it is software code, and some people say that it's like nothing. There is no categorization at all, right? So, but these 5-6 things I'm talking about have different set of rules when it comes to GST, when it comes to TDS, when it comes to income tax, when it comes to capital controls and forex and whatever it is. So you have to bring it into one method so that everyone follows one rule, right? So on that one rule, obviously, when they write the rule, it will be in their favor. That's there. Okay. So then after like one step at a time, either we have to adopt to it or fight against it and get it right, depending upon. I mean, it has to happen over a few years. It will not happen in first instance. But it is important that the community stays stronger, and it will all be fixed. So it's nothing till today is bad enough for someone to quit, right? It is it has to be that way. I mean, in India, the government runs based upon these kinds of taxes, right? So it's not like you have reserves of oil and you can enjoy 0% tax. It's not that way. Our country is this way, right? So you have to adopt it.
So finally, I think एक और question हम लेंगे जितेंद्र का ही. जितेंद्र पूछ रहे हैं कि if my exchange is not implementing TDS on P2P, then where he can pay the TDS?
So let's say if the person who we're talking about is a seller, okay, so then the TDS was supposed to be deducted in the first place, which did not happen. So now you essentially have to reach out to the buyer, which I don't know how they do, because they have to ask the exchange and reach out to the buyer and give them the PAN card details of the seller, and then 1% money should go to the PAN card details of that seller as to the income tax department, and remaining 99% of the money should go to the seller's bank account. Yeah. So it is very tedious.
Yeah, it is tedious.
It's the TDS. It's the different TDS. Yeah.
Okay. So last एक और question है which has come to my mind is basically कि do you think कि after all this scrutiny, after all these regulations, there would be loopholes, there would be some transactions, in fact, many transactions which will not be captured?
So crypto itself is in that way, right? So for example, if you say a securities transaction, like equity, right? So all of the ones that have happens officially are definitely captured because it happens on regulated exchanges and such. But when it comes to crypto, we don't know. Like if a transaction is happening, we don't even know whether it's happening in India or not. That's like the first challenge, right? So, but whatever happens through exchanges, yeah, they of course get monitored and they can get scrutinized, and the taxes being paid, being declared, made everything like accounted for, etc. So in crypto, it is not so, unfortunately, right? So which essentially means people can play around even today. It is just like not a good idea. So in the interest of the entire industry, and the opportunities that we will lose if we lose out on this is a new industry. It's a new industry. Like it's like killing a baby, like a kind of thing. So it is just slowly growing up. It has a lot of opportunities that will bring. It could be innovation, investment, employment opportunities. So we should equally be competitive with other countries, if not better, right? So that becomes important. So, and doing something wrong using crypto is a really bad thing, because they always leave the trails which will exist even after 50 years, 100 years. So people definitely should not use crypto for doing any kind of wrong things, and they should Just be cautious. And whenever they're receiving some crypto from someone, they should know a little bit of background, like about the person, etc. It should not be from some hacked account, etc. Then where
That again comes down to the research being done on your behalf, because exchanges
and that's
might
exactly
take
where for
responsibility.
example, exchanges actually add
Yes,
value,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
So exchanges always
Have this
with the required available info, I mean with available information, they at least make sure that the transactions, like deposits, are coming in, and to whomever it's going out is as much clean as possible.
Correct.
But as an individual, they cannot do it. They cannot do it yet.
Yeah. Praveen is asking too much around gifting, और मुझे gifting से ये याद आया कि I was just going through Instagram and I got to know that gifts received on your first marriage is totally tax free. तो मुझे लगता है कि this is a very legitimate way to save taxes around crypto, because in case somebody gifts you a crypto asset on your first wedding, I think that would be completely tax free. What do you have to say around
I
that?
think it will still be taxable because
Why?
see, they said that 30% is applicable for gifting as well. You cannot apply general rules
On crypto.
when there is a overriding rule already.
Correct. Which is more powerful.
30% rule is an overriding rule.
Yeah.
So I don't think just because it happened at the marriage gift, it gets exempted. But I just hope, at least when it comes to inheritances, it's inheritance. I don't think it's called as gift, right?
Maybe
so,
that is like when
fine,
we add nominee on our application. Like once you are gone and misshaped.
That's true. But yeah, so that the next kin will get that thing. So, or let's say the father is giving it to their children, etc. I hope that will not attract tax, but it's also a transfer per se. It should not be called as gift. There are definitely some edge cases which is not fully covered. Right? So we'll probably see more coverage of them in the future.
Okay, Praveen ji का question लेते हैं अब हम कि who has to pay income tax on gifting crypto? The one who is receiving the gift or the one who gives the gift?
So here it's actually say both. I'll tell like how it is both, right? So let's say I got one Bitcoin for $100, and when I'm giving it to someone, the price is around say $1,000, right? So price of it has gone up. So which means the gift that actually I am giving them is worth 1,000, which means the price has gone up.
Correct.
Okay, and on the receiver end, he is treating it as 1,000. So I think probably even I'll get taxed for the $900 that the gain was there. And from the other side, he's getting all of it as gift.
Correct.
So which means the 30% straight. So for me, 30% of 900, and for him 30% of 1,000.
1,000.
It looks like that. So but sometimes when it is gift and it is just going away, see the government is like trying to avoid one small thing where it just gets paid for consideration, right? So for example, let's say, I'll give you an example, right? Let's say you have a home. Okay, then we say that, okay, I'm buying your home for 50 lakh rupees. Okay, then I'll say that, look, I'm giving you a gift of say maybe I'll pay 5 lakh rupees or something like that in cash, and everything else is given as gift, right? For where I had, instead of that 45 lakhs, my cost price was only 5 lakhs. So 5 lakh rupees I have paid. That has become 45, and then remaining extra 5 lakhs I'm paying you in cash, and 40. This you consider, okay, fine. Total of what I got is 45. But if I had actually sold this and given you in cash, then for the 40 lakhs of gain I have got, I was supposed to pay the income tax.
Correct.
Okay, so in that way, if you see, they want to avoid this case. That's why they say that if you are gifting, even the tax is applicable.
Correct. It's
they want to cover it.
In between, even if you make something or you hide something, that also needs to be captured by the government. Yeah. Praveen ka ek dusra question hai, I think moving forward, the second part of the question is also when income tax on these gift is payable at the time of gift or on the sale of those gifts.
See, when someone is giving the gift, I think at the event of the gift, it will become taxable, according to me, but people can obviously argue. But on the other side, when they are receiving as well, at the moment they received, it will be taxable at 30%. But however, when they sell it, then they see the price difference, right?
Got it. For example,
Okay.
I received the gift this financial year and I have to send it to, like I'm selling it in the next
Next
financial
financial year.
year.
So,
What if-
so today, let's say you got 1,000 rupees worth of Bitcoin, then
Hmm.
the 1,000 rupees is taxable, which
Correct.
you pay 300,
Correct.
and that becomes, let's say, 2,000 rupees next year, or maybe after 5 years. At that time, the difference from 1,000 to 2,000 will be taxable. So
Correct.
it will be like 2 events.
Yeah. So the receiver has to pay the taxes twice at the time of.
It's not twice. It is not paying a tax for the same rupee, right?
Yeah.
Initially, he's paying it for the gift
one.
of the price of which he gets.
Correct.
And the second time, he's paying for the appreciation.
Correct.
So you never pay twice for the same money.
Correct.
It is still only
It
one
has
time.
appreciated its value, right?
Yeah.
Jitendra ji ka ek aur sawal. So I think P2P can come under gift crypto.
Okay, so see, for P2P, there hasn't really been full clarity yet. Okay, so my understanding is that actually that is also the TDS should be applicable, but how the exchange treats it is not known, or maybe the exchange does the required amendments and such. So for P2P, maybe I'll try to see if I can get more information in my next AMA. I mean, it's not available. Not that I don't know. It's not available.
Okay.
Let's say, yeah.
There's one more person on Twitter space, Finendra Reddy karke. Finendra Reddy, I would request you to type in your question on YouTube so that we will take it as a textual question and then we would be able to answer it. But जैसा कि 6 से ज़्यादा बज चुके हैं, we are running out of time as we decided that this AMA would be from 5 to 6. But actually, I was anticipating that there would be many questions flowing in. So, Sathvik, I think I would like to thank you in the first place for being the subject matter expert, answering all these questions, and this day, choosing this day, because we have been receiving a lot of social media queries, YouTube queries, people asking about TDS. They were still unclear about the tax thing, and the market has been bearish. So, like, even if there was no new rule, an AMA with you always, gets a lot of questions from people, and I think. You are the first person that I should thank. Behind the camera, I have Mazilla and Rahul. I would also like to thank them because everything that has been seen and heard is all because of them. Thank you to the entire team who has made changes to our application and our platform altogether. Sare developers, I would like to thank them. And I think to spread this word out, the marketing team, I would also like to thank them. And आप लोग भी, क्योंकि आप लोग ही हैं जो हमें बनाते हैं. And thank you for being a listener on Twitter Space, a viewer on LinkedIn, Facebook, Telegram, and YouTube. Last but not the least, all those who are Unocoiners, and it's because of you that we are standing tall, we are standing still, and that is the reason why we always try to strive better. And Sathvik, do you have to say something apart from any questions, like just to address our audience?
See, India is one of the highly regulated countries. If we are living here, we have to understand that there will be some restrictions that will be there, and eventually those restrictions come when the governments or different departments get involved. It can either we have to see it in positive light, or else we have to say that this country is not for us. And like I said, none of these issues or taxations or restrictions are large enough which will kill anything and kill the industry and such. But it has to be like understanding of how to grow together. I think it's important government makes its money so that they provide a lot of infrastructures and whatnot, right? So there's like they will have their expenses which we continue to enjoy as well. So we should be more proud that we are taxpayers, and we are growing in we're trying to be a part of this disruptive industry to see its bright future. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. There's one more question again from Jitendra. मैं बस आपका आखिरी क्वेश्चन लूंगी क्योंकि उन्होंने बोला कि प्लीज मेरे इस आखिरी सवाल का जवाब दे दीजिए कि just yes or no में कि sir, I think P2P can come under gift crypto, but as you said कि you do not have answer to it as of now.
It's unlikely. We see it's P2P means on one side you are receiving the gift, I mean receiving the fiat money. Then how can the other side be gift? Then it will become a sale, no?
Correct. But like how otherwise also you categorize some transfer as gift?
When there is no consideration on the other side. See, if I am giving crypto and I'm taking a home, like apartment from you, it's not gift. It's actually I paid it for as consideration.
Correct.
Okay. But if I just gave it to you, didn't expect anything back, only then it's gift.
You gave me your Bitcoin is what is a gift.
And if I don't expect anything else.
But expectation has to be put into words and codes.
That's right. So if you give me something else, then I use this as a payment.
Okay, but it could be a
See,
kind of repayment.
let's say I have 100 rupees here. I just say that is this like gift to you, Rashmi, then I cannot expect anything back. But when I say that and you just give me maybe a paper bundle or something like that, then I actually purchase that paper bundle using this money.
But nobody knows about this thing, right?
Okay, forget about, okay. Income tax, first of all, is a self-declaration here. Okay, self-declaration means you go yourself at some point of time and say that I have got so much of income and I want to pay income tax.
Correct.
Okay, so no one is telling you, look, Rashmi, you are supposed to pay this much income tax exactly. Because no one actually knows exactly how much money you have made, because you would have made money in like multiple ways, right? But however, if the scrutiny comes up, it will be you who will answer like how I got every money and how much I got, and the paid taxes is sufficient or not. Okay. So it's actually called self-assessment, tax. It's income tax itself is called, right? So just because the government as of today does not know what happened here, but what if they just go to the exchange where P2P was facilitated? They just know, okay, Rashmi Sathvik did the transaction.
Yes.
So then they'll know that this much of money was paid.
So that
it was not gift.
It was gift because whatever Sathvik paid to me was recorded in the ledger of the exchange.
Yes.
But whatever you have received,
that will be recorded in the bank because you paid to be in the bank.
Yeah.
So either way, and that rate at which the transaction is happening is recorded in the exchange.
Correct.
And the actual money transfer happened in the bank. So it cannot be gift.
So I think Jitendra ji, we have answered your question, and I think this is a good way to end this AMA. Thank you so much, guys. And बहुत जल्दी हम दूसरे AMA के साथ भी आएंगे. Like, share, comment कीजिए इस वीडियो के ऊपर और सब्सक्राइब कीजिए हमारा YouTube चैनल, क्योंकि अब आपको सात्विक सिर्फ सुनाई नहीं देने वाले हैं ट्विटर स्पेसेस के साथ, अब दिखाई भी देने वाले हैं. एंड मुझे तो पता है कि इनकी फैन फॉलोइंग बहुत ही गजब की है और you will get to see him a lot. So thank you so much, guys. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and it was great hosting you. This is Rashmi Sharma signing off. Thank you.